Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Hey, we're back at it again. And before we dive into this bourbon today, just one quick important announcement. The Bourbon Judge is going live in less than 2 weeks, away. So Tuesday, January 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars. Going live for the first time. It's going to be a blast. Going to have fun. Going to have a ton of giveaways. And going to have some guest judges in the house as well. We have Whiskey Mountains coming on. We also have Jason and Brandy from the Black Bourbon family. And last but not least, my man Hood Sommelier is also going to be on the channel. So a lot of great guests joining the Bourbon Judge for his first live stream. And I'm really looking forward to celebrating my first live stream with all of you. All right. We are going to review today none other than Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve, by the way. Let me let you guys see that bottle. So here's the front. And here's the back. So that's Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve. So you may have seen this in stores. You may have had it. You may have, tried it at a bar or just even heard friends talk about it. But this bourbon has actually got a lot of great, let's just call it reviews, a lot of positive energy in the whiskey community about this whiskey. So when you think about Cooper's Craft, who is it as a whole? As it says here on the front of the label, it's owned by Brown-Forman. So when you think of Brown-Forman, what are some of the other Brown-Forman whiskey brands? You have Old Forester, you have Woodford Reserve, and you have Jack Daniels. Those are like the three major whiskey brands under the Brown-Forman umbrella. This brand here, though, was actually really established just about 4 years ago, back in 2017, going on, I guess maybe 4 or 5 years ago, back in 2017, to really pay homage to all of the cooperage workers. So Brown-Forman is one of the only major distilleries that have their own cooperage. What does that mean, Bourbon Judge? So Brown-Forman is the only distillery to make their own barrels. They make their own barrels, folks. They've been doing it for many years, and they make thousands of barrels on a daily basis. So again, they are one of the only major distilleries to actually truly make their own barrels and have their own cooperage. So as a way to kind of really just show thank you to all the cooperage workers, they created this sub-brand back in 2017. And this was actually one of the first, newest brands that they created in over 20 years. So over 20 years, then they finally created a brand new brand to kind of show support to all those cooperage workers who've been doing a fantastic job for many years. So let me go ahead and pour a little bit. So let's dive into this bad boy. Let me hit you with the facts. MSRP, $30. Yes, I did not get that wrong. MSRP, $30. So when I heard about a great bourbon and at $30, you know I had to get this bourbon on the channel. And the fact that it's made by Brown-Forman, right? So I had to get it on the channel. I will say they also have another version that comes in at 82 proof. That's like the standard Cooper's Craft. That's 82 proof, and that bottle's about $22. But this bottle here, Cooper's Craft Barrel Reserve, 100 proof bourbon for $30. I will say I found this myself in Maryland, but I've seen it in North Carolina, I've seen it in Virginia, I've seen it in multiple states. And what I like about Cooper's Craft bourbon is the fact that you can truly just go directly to their website. I'll put the link up above. Go right on their website and you can just type in your zip code and you can find out whether or not, if it's close to you, and if it's not close to you, you may want to plug in some of your cousins or friends' zip codes and see if it's close to them and have somebody else pick up a bottle for you. But we're only going to do that if it's some good juice. All right, let's dive into this a little bit. So, last couple of things I'll say about this one is that from a mash bill, they don't share the exact mash bill, but what they do share is the fact that it's similar to Old Forester, except for in the mash bill they put more corn and less rye. So more corn, less rye. And what's really unique about this is that it actually goes through a charcoal filtration process where they also include beech and birch in the charcoal filtration process. So they're making it a bit smokier, at least it should be, a bit smokier, a bit sweeter as a whole. So we'll see. So color standpoint, you guys can see, and gals as well, ladies can see, nice and dark, which I like. Again, no exact age statement, but they do say on average it's about 4 to 6 years is roughly the age of this whiskey. I mean, $30. Hopefully this is some good whiskey. We shall see. All right, so from a nose standpoint, wow, this is very nice. Very nice on the nose. Tons of like cinnamon, a little bit of chocolate in there as well. Maybe even like some apples, some pears, some caramel also, which I like, not bad. The nose kind of reminds me of almost like a blend of like when I think of like 1910 Old Forester. Kind of reminds me somewhat similar to that, but with a little bit of smokiness. Maybe like the smokiness because of that charcoal filtration process. All right. Hey, I say this each and every week. Peace, cheers, salute. Here's to everyone out there. Here we go. Let's see. All right. Okay. So what's interesting about this is that everything from the nose does transfer to the palate. You get a ton of like caramel. You get some soft notes of like some cinnamon, maybe some maple syrup, but there's also some fruit in there as well. The apples is there as well in the finish. At 100 proof, in my opinion, this sips a little bit hotter than 100 proof, which is okay. I would, if I had to guess, if I was sipping this blind, I probably would have guessed this is actually maybe like 105 or 107 proof, maybe even up to 110. The finish is not super long, like it's hotter in the palate, and the finish is here, but then it slowly kind of drops off. So the finish is a little bit quicker, but again, it's aged 4 to 6 years, so I was kind of expecting that. But this is pretty decent, so I'm gonna go ahead and just finish this, just to make sure. Hey, real quick, I need 3 quick and easy favors. Number 1, hit the like button. Number 2, drop me a comment. I love going back and forth. Honestly, one of my favorite things is just interacting with everyone in the bourbon community. And last but not least, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell as well so you get the notifications each and every time I put out content. All right, let me just finish this one off. Oh man, this, folks. Woo! All right, cheers, everybody. Okay, so the question always remains when we're in the courtroom. Bourbon Judge, is this a buy? Is it a leave it on the shelf? Is it just so-so and maybe not worth picking up? The verdict is in, folks. This is an absolute buy. Let me explain why. I always feel that's important. At $30 for an basically, truly a whiskey that's owned by Brown-Forman. So you're talking about Brown-Forman, as I said earlier, Old Forester, Jack Daniels, and then Woodford Reserve. They know how to make great whiskey. This to me is an absolute buy. It reminds me of, as I mentioned, the nose. The nose reminds me of 1910. The palate does too, but it almost reminds me of a combination of like, imagine like Old Forester 1910, and if you just mixed in just a little bit of like Jack Daniels barrel proof, just like a drop or two, right? Just a little bit to kind of get that proof up a little bit. It reminds me of a combination of Old Forester 1910 and Jack Daniels barrel proof because it has that smokiness. The smokiness is in the palate. Wasn't a ton in the nose, but a lot more in the palate. This at $30, in my opinion, is an absolute great buy for anybody. Number 1, if you're newer to bourbon, or number 2, if you just want a really good new bourbon, something that you haven't sipped before and you want a new daily sipper, this is it. In my opinion, this is absolutely a fantastic bottle. A lot of people have told me a lot of good things about it. I was slow to try it, but hey, here we go. Cheers, everybody. Hopefully you can find this. Again, look on the website. Talk to you guys and gals soon. Peace out. Later.